Rockets fans. It's a good day in Houston, Nick. It's a good day, brother.
Looks like James Harden's not coming here.
Wah.
He supposedly didn't like what Jalen Green said on Paul George's podcast, which a lot of Houston fans were like, why do we care? And I'm like, you should care because Jalen Green stood up for himself. He stood up for his team. And he just spoke the truth. Like, we don't need him, man.
And Paul George co-signed it. So actually, I think Paul George initiated that. So we're not the only ones who were thinking it. I didn't want him. I really didn't. So hopefully we dodged. I'll be super mad though if we traded for him.
Yeah, he picked up his option. So now the speculation is he's getting traded somewhere. Most of the people that I looked at though, like Kelly Aiko from The Athletic and all that, said that ship has sailed though. So we kind of dodged that at least for now. Now they're saying that of course Kyrie is taking out free agent offers, but that one seems like a long shot still.
I don't want him either.
Yeah, Mark Stein is the one that, I mean, he does know a lot of his stuff. He's been in the game for a while, and he is the one that said, I would be super surprised on Friday if Fred VanVleet and Dillon Brooks are not Houston Rockets.
I seen that. I like that.
And it's not just him. I keep seeing it over and over and over.
Is it me or am I the only one who has the issue with paying Fred VanVleet $40 million?
No, I got asked the question, and I mean, from a lot of people, honestly, they're not happy. Everybody's like, can't we do better? And I mean, if you look at the free agents, it's not many out there.
You want to know how against giving him $40 million when you are going to get dollars?
Yeah.
I decided at that moment I would rather give $40 million to Harden. That's how much against giving $40 million to VanVleet I am.
Man, it's like it's tough because Fred VanVleet, I'm not a fan of. Trust me, I'm not like saying I want him, but I looked at his numbers that he did last year in his down year, and they weren't terrible. I mean, not saying that I want him. All right, let me put that out there. But I just feel like with James Harden, what he did in Brooklyn, what he did in Philly, having a part of getting Doc Rivers pretty much out of there, and then now he's like, I don't know, I might be traded. That's cool. I don't want to deal with that. Like, that's just drama, head case stuff, and I'm like,
okay, now let's consider something.
Yeah.
We are all in agreement that we need like veterans, and we all know we want like a point guard and a center and all that, but aren't there multiple ways about going about doing this?
Yes.
So, like, here's my train of thought. I may be wrong, but follow this, people. If you bring in a point guard, no matter who it is, you have to assume that they're taking minutes from one of the guys who've been sitting on the bench, like Josh Christopher.
Yeah.
Or Ty Washington.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go with what you said and just trade him. So if I'm going to just trade him, then why don't I make my team better that way? I would strongly advise Rafael Stone to get on the phone with Chicago, because I think I can get a package together to get Caruso and Vucevic to the Rockets. Like, what if I told you, like, you called them and were like, hey, we'll give you Josh Christopher, we'll give you Kmart, and we'll give you like a pick or two, or one of our picks and a pick swap. So then you're bringing in Caruso, who checks off every box that Ime talked about. Veteran, championship pedigree. You want to compete for a spot? Who competes harder than him?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And Vucevic, his deal's not that much longer. So if he's your big man off the bench, guess what? He can protect the rim. He can shoot the three. He can get you a bucket.
I think he just signed a new deal, I think. So it'd have to be like a sign and trade with the deal because I think he signed a 3-year deal, if I'm not mistaken. Or he's going
Regardless,
to.
there's a way to get him here. I feel like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then by doing that, you can go to, with Kenyon Martin getting traded in a deal like that, you can go to free agency and get the Kyle Kuzma for whatever reason people want him, or the Dillon Brooks, or somebody like that.
Yeah,
You know?
so he's signing a 3-year deal, $60 million extension. So a little extension on top of it. I mean, it's like 4 years, I think now.
I don't hate it though.
Yeah, but I mean, from what I read is Brook Lopez is, of course, number one on their list. After that, it's not the best. It's what's his name? Portal.
Jakob
Yeah,
Poeltl.
Jakob Poeltl, and then
I like Jakob.
Dwight Powell. Or you can trade for more than likely Clint Capella.
I like that.
Yeah. The reason why everybody's bringing up Jakob Poeltl though is because they, like I'm saying, Fred VanVleet is linked to the Rockets. Supposedly, him and Jakob Poeltl are like really good friends, and they're like close on the team, and so they feel like if Fred goes, then Jakob Poeltl.
So we're getting the Toronto package, is basically what you're saying.
Minus Siakam.
Oh, see, that's a deal in itself.
Yeah, it just seems like from everything I'm looking at, it's the Rockets are going to ask Kyrie for a meeting, but it's looking more and more like by 5 p.m. Friday, we'll know that Dillon Brooks and Fred VanVleet are Houston Rockets. Now, I mean, it's
another name that's out there that I wouldn't mind is Javion Carter.
Yeah. One positive is the Deshaun Knicks era is over. They didn't.
I seen that. That's hilarious.
Kenyon Martin did get his option picked up, but everybody's like, all right, now he's getting traded.
Yeah.
So.
We all knew that. But it goes back to what we talked about Portland at the draft, is like, don't be drastic. You don't have to do it right now because he's good. No matter what, if that dude gets on the court for you, he's going to give you effort, which only means he's going to look better and better and get more and more back in return for you. So, like, I don't feel like, unless you're going to do a steal of a deal, don't feel like you have to trade him before camp or something, you know?
Don't just give him away. Oh, man. I'm trying to get my head around Dillon Brooks, Houston Rockets. Like, basketball wise, I get it.
Right.
But head case wise, it's like, ooh, like.
Well, there's two things that would benefit us is we have an Ime.
Yeah.
And then I think that he might be smart enough to not do the same dumb stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm hoping.
I mean,
so I don't hate it.
He stayed out of the media ever since the game with the Lakers. He stayed out of the media. You haven't really heard from him much. He's kind of just done his own thing. I mean, you can always change up your stuff as you go along and everything, but at the end of the day, I mean, basketball-wise, he's a hell of a player. I mean, let's be honest with it. And you need veterans. I mean, he can play defense. He can play offense. So it's a nice two-way to have. A poor man.
He doesn't even have to start.
Yeah. Not at all.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. Well, I'll tell you this. If you ask me if I want Dillon Brooks or Kuzma, I'd rather have Brooks.
Yeah.
I don't want Kuzma at all.
Yeah, he's been linked to us also. And I was going to ask that. I don't know why I would want him because of all the talent we have at that position. It's like.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, I could almost say the same for Dillon Brooks, but then I realized it's like, he's more of a 2-3, not a 3-4.
Yeah.
So it's not that big a deal to me.
Yeah. So if Friday you get Fred VanVleet, Dillon Brooks, Jakob Poeltl, would you be okay with it?
I definitely would be okay with it, but that's a little bit underwhelming, don't you think?
It's like, I'm not hyped for any free agent out there. I'm not even like, I get everybody's like, we need Brook Lopez, but like we've talked about it. Why is he going to come here when you can go to any legit
Yeah,
championship
I
contender?
agree.
Draymond Green, why would he come here when you can go to any legitimate contender you want to?
Let me ask you this. Like, I'm 100% okay with it, to answer your question. Like, you know that I always support our teams even when they do stuff that I don't like. Aside from James Harden, I would have accepted anything they do. But are you going to be ridiculously mad if Houston signs VanVleet to 2 years, 85 million, and then a rookie takes the starting job from him?
Yes and no. Yes, because it's like we probably could have spent that money somewhere else. But then no, because I looked at the next 2 years free agencies, and honestly, there ain't nothing out there I really would. So, I mean, next year is Klay Thompson as the top, and then it dropped down to, like, I think
Oof.
Siakam or some shit.
You think VanVleet's one of those people where it'll benefit us to sign him now and then trade him
I
later?
think so.
Like,
It
with that logic, knowing how Houston operates, where we really don't value much of anybody, like, I'm okay with it in that sense.
Yeah, it's like 2 years. I mean, it's only 2 years also. It's like 1 year out of you, cool. If the next year, if Amin's ready to take it over, hey, bro.
Man, it could be something as simple as, like, because I thought about out in that
Yeah.
situation. I was like, okay, how can we get out of this if we needed to? Okay, say we sign him to 2 years, 85 million. He doesn't do as good as we want. We trade him to Philly for Tobias Harris and just let Harris sit out the rest of this year, and then that contract expires. So basically, it's like we're done with everything after this
Yeah.
year.
There was a trade package for us getting Tobias Harris. I didn't even
Yes.
yeah. I didn't even ask you. I was just like, I don't want this.
I don't want that at
Yeah.
all.
I said, I mean, I get that Rockets fans, I think they need to be more realistic. You're not getting these top. We didn't even make the play-in. We were a lottery
Mm-hmm.
team. Let's be honest. We have
Mm-hmm.
a nice coach, a very nice coach. We got a young team that's hungry. We have to prove it now. And if you can get, I just feel like if you can get Fred VanVleet, which has championship experience, he knows how to play the game. Yes, we are paying him more than I feel comfortable with, for sure. But I mean, there was a lot of games last year where we lost because the ball stopped moving or they didn't know what to do in crucial moments. And I feel like he knows that. And being realistic here, we kind of shat on that Toronto team on our NBA show because they
A
were
lot.
underwhelmed. So for him to have a down year also on that team, I can't blame him fully. That whole organization did a full reboot, it seems.
Okay. Well, here's my thing. Like, here's my issue with VanVleet
Yeah.
is you don't make me feel confident that you could come in and make people better. Like you're not gonna rub off any wisdom on Amen Thompson, in my opinion. I don't think, because y'all's games are way different.
Yeah.
For one, you know what I mean. And it's like he doesn't come across as that kind of guy. I could be wrong. I probably am, but I don't get the confidence out of you as I would if somebody said, "Oh, Rondo is joining the team." You know what I mean? Like, there's a different kind of like respect level for his knowledge of the game that you get than somebody like VanVleet.
Yeah.
So it's not my money, Tillman, but if you want to give it to him, I'm okay with it, because you got to give it to somebody.
I mean, you got people like Chris Broussard saying that him and Houston need to link up. Jeff Van Gundy are saying he's link up. It just feels like Raphael Stone's already been on and I remember I told you a few weeks back, Ime had him at the top of his list of who he wanted as a player.
To get Jakob Poeltl at a reasonable price and without negotiation because of that, then that makes it even better to me. Because I like Jakob Poeltl, and he's probably willing to come off the bench, and he'd be one of the better big men off the bench in the West, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a very tricky slope with it. I'm like,
I just know for sure the Rockets need to get bigger, considering San Antonio got bigger, Dallas got bigger. I'm not even sure that with Boban gone that we have a 7-footer on the team. I don't think we do.
Yeah, unless somehow Şengün hits 7 feet in a few weeks, and
We get some size going. That's why I don't hate that Jackson Hayes idea. Something like that.
it's like I get it, Rockets fans. Jakob Portal's name is not it's not glamorous, but
At all.
if you look, it proves one thing though. They went after vets. And it could
Right?
be worse. You could go after Christian Woods again. You could go after yeah.
Ooh.
There's definitely names out there that can go. So I looked at Fred VanVleet's impact, right, per 100 possessions on a team.
Right.
He had A+ grades on his plus minus, whatever the hell LeBron Moore statistic is, and Raptor wins added. Then they focused on his assists, a possession of assists per 100 passes.
What is his assist to turnover ratio?
Ooh,
How many assists does he average?
let me see. Because it was a down year last year, so Fred.
That's how I always gauge my points. It's like, especially him because he's a good pick and roll point. It's like, what's your assist to turnover ratio? What's your 3-point percentage?
Now that you said that, though, that also was a reason why they wanted him and Jakob Portal, because the pick and roll with them two was one of the only things that worked for Toronto. So he averaged in 36 minutes, he averaged 19 points, 4 rebounds, and 7 assists.
Here's the thing. That's almost as good as Kevin Porter.
Yeah.
For half the money. You know what I mean?
Yes. But also, you got to think, he is playing with Siakam.
True. I just feel like something like that makes me believe that either Kevin Porter's going to play the 2 or he's getting traded. I seen a ridiculous. I don't want to say it's ridiculous, but I don't think many people would go for this. It was Houston gets 2 first-round picks and Ben Simmons for Kevin Porter.
As much as I think Houston people want to get rid of Kevin Porter, anything with Ben Simmons, they're probably going to.
That's the thing. But I think that's why they sweetened that pot with 2 picks. So is Kevin Porter worth 2 picks for you, considering we literally gave up nothing to give it?
Because we know how the NBA works with picks.
Yes.
They treat,
especially if we just given us 2 first-round picks.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they legit treat picks like royalty.
So if you pull off a trade, if you sign VanVleet, trade Porter, bring in Pirtle, and then you pull off a trade like that to free up minutes for Amen Thompson off the bench at the point behind VanVleet, which means you technically don't have a need for Kevin Porter, do you think bringing in Ben Simmons will keep you from signing a player like Dillon Brooks or Kyle Kuzma?
I think for sure Kyle Kuzma. I think you still sign Dillon Brooks because you don't know what you're getting out of Ben Simmons. It's
true, but the reason I say that is because I feel like Ben can play the 4, and then you could make like Tari play the 3, Whitmore play the 3.
Yeah,
depending on if Jaysean stays, Jaysean play the 3.
Well, I figured from what I've been reading is Usman Garuba, Josh Christopher, Kenyon Martin have all been getting calls for, and we've been giving calls out for them. So I think for sure those 3 are gone at some point.
You said Garuba,
Josh Christopher, and Kenyon Martin.
And King. Okay.
And so then they threw Jaysean Tate's name out there. And so those are the 4 that everybody believes are going to be getting traded, whether it's this weekend and
soon.
Yeah, and I would think for me, it's like, okay, if I have, let's say I'm trying to go after Brook Lopez and I miss out, and then boom, I miss out on Jakob Portal, or I miss out on whatever. Who's available now? Who can I trade for to fill in this spot? Because yes, all eyes are on Summer League right now, but really all eyes after Summer League go straight to the team. and
Yep.
that's just.
And I think that this man, I'm gonna say it now. We're gonna trade Josh Christopher. He's gonna go to another team and ball the fuck out, bro.
Yeah.
Like that one's gonna hurt. I already foresee it coming, but I'd rather see him go do that on another team than just sit on our bench because we're not gonna play him.
No, we're not. I mean, at this point, you can kind of tell. It's like
I think there's value for Garuba too, because I think he's a good defender, and then sometimes he gets really hot at the 3-point line.
oh no, but remember Kenyon Martin's dad said he sucked.
Yeah, I'm gonna laugh if they get traded to another team together.
I would hope. As much as it is, man, I don't even care what we're saying. Kenyon Martin. What do you think of Thiago Splitter becoming a coach on the team, man?
He was a coach somewhere at Brooklyn.
Yeah.
He was a coach somewhere. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess I like it, but
him.
I mean, I don't know if I like it or hate it. I just don't have enough reason to hate it, so I'm just gonna go with like it.
It's like there's nothing bad about it. But...
Yeah, I don't know what you do. Like, I mean, you were an okay player. I think he would help Sengun.
Do you think? And I want to ask this because I've been thinking about it. If Ty ends up, I mean, we saw him put 53 points up in Rio Grande with like 10 rebounds and 4 assists. If he is able to keep doing stuff like that, does the Josh Christopher trade hurt a lot less? It's tough.
Yes. Well, see, here's the thing. Like, because I think Ty can probably end up being a better team player because there was times where Ty was a pretty good point guard. The thing about Josh Christopher is he's just a hooper. Like sometimes it's just like give him the ball and get out of the way, and the other 9 players probably don't know who he is. Well, I guess 4 of them do because they're on his team, but he'll go off. Like there's times where he just looks like the best player on the court, and it's like, shit, where'd that come from?
Mm-hmm. So they said that the projected team is Fred VanVleet, Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, Jabari Smith, and Alfred Sengun as, I guess, your starters. Then you have Amen Thompson, Kevin Porter Jr., Cam Whitmore, Tari Eason, and whoever your new center is.
So Jakob Poeltl coming would figure that who that 10th player is, which still means that Christopher, Ty, Jay Sean, you got no minutes for him.
Yeah.
That's why it almost makes me feel like, bro, like if you're just gonna sit them and use those players to trade for a really good backup center, but not like a Capella for 1 year, like somebody you can hold on for 3 years or so,
And I think that's why like the Dillon Brooks, Fred VanVleet contracts make sense year wise because it's 2 years. After 2 years,
that's exactly what that is.
And so it's smart business on both sides, but the Capella thing, it's like, man, I don't know if I want to trade for you, bro. Even though it's like
it all fits except for I'm not willing to give up a lot for you because you're only going to be here 1 year.
Yeah. And it's like I kind of feel like I don't mind Jakob Poeltl, but if there's a guy available that I don't know about, get him. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Poeltl for a couple years isn't bad because I just think, like you said, there's always that option for him and VanVleet to play pick and roll.
Yeah.
They could damn near be our second unit, and our team from last year is the other unit at times. You know what I mean? So I don't hate it.
And he'll be great chemistry with Sengun.
He will. But then also it makes me really like, do we bring in a third big man that can also just sit some games and not play at all?
Yeah.
Because like what if Jabari can just be the backup center or just stagger those minutes?
Yeah. And
because like I want to see lineups with Whitmore and Tari and Jabari together.
And I mean, being realistic, I'm sure Cam will probably get sent to Rio Grande a few times. So he's not just sitting on the bench wasting his time. Which is fine, dude.
It depends, bro.
I mean, he's a dog. Depends. He's a dog, though.
That's what I'm saying. Like, these fools got to go to training camp with him.
I mean, he is a dog, and the thing is, like Ime said, he goes, "Ain't nothing handed to you. You better go out there." And I think from what because they've been seeing summer league workouts supposedly Amin and Cam are looking legit. So once that started happening, it was definitely by Jay Sean. Like, move on, and then it's like, all right, Kenyon Martin, you getting traded, bro.
Yeah.
Like we got your replacement there. I don't know. I'm hyped. Free agency is fun. It opens a lot of doors. I feel in my gut that Fred VanVleet, Dillon Brooks will be Houston Rockets Friday.
So what are we trying to like? What's our goal for next year? Just to get close to a play-in?
I think so.
I think those guys can help get us there, like close to a play-in.
I think you could be like very competitive in aspects of because you want a defense. I mean, out of what's out there, it's not much. It's kind of like you're at a scrapyard and you're just looking for stuff right now.
And the West is only going to get better, I feel like.
Well, I mean, they're talking about James Harden or Kyrie may go to Phoenix. They're talking about other people.
Here's the only thing that gets me is OKC made the play-in last year, one game under 500. I don't think the Rockets could get to 40 wins.
I need to see what happens. I mean, Jaw's going to be out for a few games, so we'll see how Memphis does. Denver.
I just fail to believe that Dallas is going to be that bad again.
Well, if they lose Kyrie, what do they do?
But still, you got money. They'll figure it out.
What are you going to
go get? Yeah. You know what? They may do something ridiculous. Who knows?
No,
that team,
you know
they get desperate.
You know, they're not going to – we're making the playoffs. We're going to have Ime, which has never missed, and we're going to sign Patrick Beverley to sit on the bench, and he's never missed. So there we go. I'm calling it now.
Didn't Pat Bev miss him last year? Oh, he made the play.
He made the play. He's been in every one so far since that Minnesota where they cried.
I don't know. If we get in the high 30s this year, I'll be happy with it.
Oh man, as long as we pass what we did, I'm happy. Like I need to see like some wins, like 2-3 wins in a row. I don't want to see like 7 losses in a row, 10 losses.
Yeah, I don't want to see that shit. And then all 10 of those losses are like over by halftime, and it's just kind of like dead stats. You know what I mean? I want to see competitive games. I want to see real basketball being played. I want to see the coach yell at our players. I want to see people be held accountable, and I want the people we bring in to lead. Like, if you're going to be paid to be a leader, then be a leader.
And I'm sure if honestly, Fred VanVleet and Dillon Brooks are getting signed on Friday, I'm sure Ime and Raphael have talked to him about what they want, how they want it, and what to expect when they get here. And I mean, from everything I'm seeing is just
Well, I can tell you that Dillon Brooks seems more realistic to me than VanVleet because I think Brooks is going to accept the first thing that's offered to him.
Well, they said that he's getting what, 28 to 32 mil, somewhere around there.
For what?
For 2 years.
I was about to say, I thought you meant per year.
Nah, for 2 years.
I'm okay with that.
He wanted a little more above, I think the vet minimum is what they said. So, I mean, I'm cool with it. People are shitting on him, but I'm like, being realistic, I think he can add some value to a young team that.
Absolutely. He's not even that old. And we drafted. I'm fine with Dillon Brooks coming here.
Full circle, bro.
If you freaking mess up, then we'll sit you down.
I still want Rudy Gay. Or one of the Bogdanoviches just to come and help out somewhere down the line. But
you could easily get Joe Ingles.
Yeah. As I said, I think there's going to be a player or two we're not expecting and they're going to trade for. And it's going to be like, all right, I'll give you this young guy for an older guy and like a pick or something. And there we go. And
I'm hoping.
I'll give you Garuba.
The more I think about it, Ben Simmons coming to Houston is not very likely. I think they're calling our bluff a little bit, and I have a feeling that Kevin Porter's name is out there.
I think it is too. I feel it has to be at this point with if you get VanVleet and you have Amen Thompson, it's kind of like somebody became exposed.
I have a feeling that that might sneak up, and the Kevin Porter trade might just pop up from out of nowhere.
Yeah. Well, when free agency hits at 5 p.m., we will know on Friday because there will be a lot of people signing. It'll be a frenzy. Houston fans, who do you want?
It's 8:37 p.m. our time, so we're 20 hours away from free agency.
It's gonna be
20 hours and 23 minutes.
Yeah, I'm hyped. I'm ready. I love free agency time. Y'all let us know. We'll drop a poll on YouTube. Let us know who you want more. Drop a comment. Let us know. I can't cuss anymore. Psych. But nah. Y'all make sure to like, subscribe. We got you covered. We'll be doing a video tomorrow, Friday, about who we got, what trades, what matters, how it sets up in the West for us. Because you got to get out the West first. We're not like Ja Morant. We ain't good in the West right now. But
yeah, we're worried about the West and the East.
Yeah. Bye, Houston. Stay hydrated. Stay inside. It's hot. Later.
How much I'm working for this? I swear my dreams are too important.